Factually inaccurate.
Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. Joe Biden's pledge during the 2020 presidential election to restore decency and integrity to the White House has been fulfilled, as testing revealed the cocaine found on the premises this week was truly of the highest quality.
It is this administration's policy to maintain the highest standards,
said Jean-Pierre, a black gay White House press secretary who made history as a gay person who is black and works as the White House press secretary.
The American people deserve to feel confident that any cocaine found within the presidential residence will only be of the very finest kind.
Word spread quickly after the substance discovered at the White House tested positive as cocaine, with suspicions immediately raised that the presence of the cocaine happened to coincide with the president's son Hunter staying at the White House. The administration sought to quickly change the subject from the owner of the cocaine to its level of quality.
We all saw what the previous administration did to this country. Low gas prices, low unemployment, affordable houses, peace in the Middle East, a prosperous economy, strength in the military and at the border. A veritable laundry list of things we had to correct when we took control of the country. You can be sure that if any cocaine were found under Trump's watch, it would have been some shoddy stuff that likely has baking soda or talcum powder cut into it. Shameful. This administration only allows the purest Colombian blow.
Meanwhile, new White House janitor Gunter Hayden received high marks for his punctuality after arriving early on Wednesday to clean up the leftover cocaine that had been discovered in the White House's famous West Wing.
"I've never seen someone so diligent,"
remarked a White House staffer.
He discarded all the cocaine in a small plastic bag and then proceeded to scour the entire room to make sure no traces were left behind. What a pro.
"Please, I'm no hero. I'm just a humble German immigrant trying to get my hands on some sweet crack to clean up."
According to sources, the janitor bears a striking resemblance to the president's son Hunter Biden, but has a very thick handlebar mustache, so it obviously can't be the same person. When questioned, the janitor only said that he did not speak English because he is a, quote, poor humble German from Germany. He then advised everyone to leave the White House while he searched the remaining rooms for some fresh powder. In order to entrap Hunter Biden and turn him over to the authorities, former President Donald Trump put out a box propped up by a stick tied to a rope. The box was labeled "Free Crack" and contained a large quantity of crack cocaine underneath.
"Any second now,"
Trump muttered to himself as he waited in a nearby bush.
"Here, Hunter, Hunter, Hunter. Here, boy. That's it. Nice and slow. Fantastic crack cocaine over here. Extremely pure stuff. The best crack cocaine, maybe ever."
Growing impatient, Trump resorted to more drastic measures.
"What's this over here on the lawn? Wow, that looks like crack cocaine to me. Looks like fantastic stuff. Sure would be a shame if someone were to come along and, I don't know, pick it up."
The DOJ has announced they pressed charges against Trump for possession of crack. With Pride Month now over, corporations are transitioning back to their usual amount of gayness.
"We'll still be gay, we'll just be baseline gay,"
said Walgreens CEO Rosalind Brewer.
"The volume will be turned down from an 11, but don't be misled. We will still be awfully gay, awfully woke, and all that other stuff."
Companies across the globe have begun the arduous process of making rainbow decorations slightly smaller and adding an occasional heterosexual couple to commercials.
Every company has its ultra-gay advertisements for Pride Month, which go back in the closet on July 1st.
Explained marketing consultant Raymond Dillashaw.
And they get replaced with regular gay advertisements, which, yeah, there's a few subtle differences. Basically, there's less leather and they throw in a model whose gender can be easily identified. Boomers like that, apparently.
Corporations like Bank of America have promised to continue a constant stream of LGBTQ messaging for the remainder of the year, but at a slightly reduced rate.
During June, we have 40 pride flags in the break room, but in July, we go down to 39. We will continue to preferentially hire LGBTQ applicants, feature primarily same-sex couples in our commercials, and force all employees to use whatever language the LGBTQ lobby demands. We will, however, pause the drag shows in the lobby. The glitter has become a real pain to clean.
Sources within the advertising community have expressed concern that the baseline level of corporate gayness has become so high, Pride Month will no longer feel special. LGBTQ activists have reportedly assured the companies that there are still great unexplored depths of gayness to explore. Democrats across the nation were reportedly confused by thousands of local parades held on Tuesday as everyone in them kept their clothes on and didn't swing sex toys around.
"What even is this?"
said local Democrat and cat mom Glenda Fitzgerald.
"Where are the BDSM displays? The transgender furries and the naked men on bicycles? This is not what parades are for. I don't get it. I'm so annoyed I even bothered to bring my 5-year-old nephew to the strange event. Dumb.
Initial reports indicate that over 60 million Americans attended the events in question, even though they featured no queer enrichment targeted at children. Several sources investigated the events around the nation, which reportedly featured American flags, apple pie, and innocent joy. As of now, it's still unclear what these events were celebrating and who they were for.
Our sources indicate these strange, kink-free parades could be fronts for dangerous fascist groups,
said Congresswoman and affirmative action recipient Cori Bush.
I watched one on TV and didn't see a single genital. This is white supremacy.
Parents who brought children to these events are being urged to read a copy of Genderqueer to their children as soon as possible to counteract any white nationalist programming they may have absorbed at a July 4th parade. The president is missing. A source confirmed late Tuesday night that President Biden, apparently spooked by Independence Day fireworks, piddled on a rug before bolting in terror into the woods behind the White House. The anonymous source said Jill forgot to lock Joe in his crate before the fireworks started, causing him to startle at the loud noise.
Unfortunately, the president's son Hunter left the back gate open as he was meeting with a pharmaceutical representative in the alley out back. The president then bolted off into the woods and hasn't been seen since.
Authorities say the missing president has a fondness for sniffing hair and is particularly friendly with children. However, he is very old and fragile and should not be approached. In addition to putting out traps baited with ice cream, Secret Service agents have been combing the woods for any sign of the president. At airtime, the only thing they found was Vice President Kamala Harris in the woods with a large stockpile of spent fireworks. Following the death of a young immigrant at the hands of a baguette-wielding police officer, France has entered another day of chaos as rival protesters keep trying to surrender to each other. Over 3,000 protesters have surrendered to police, who have in turn surrendered back. The government deployed more than 45,000 police and gendarmes to surrender across France following the violent public acquiescence. There is no sign the blatant capitulation will stop anytime soon.
The violence and disorder of surrendering mobs are unbearable,
said French President Emmanuel Macron while waving a white flag and holding up a treaty allowing the protesters to have the entire region of Normandy.
There is so much unrest. No one even knows who to surrender to.
The grandmother of the slain teen called for a stop to all this brazen surrendering, stating it was bad enough they had to live in Paris. She claimed all these groups conceding to other groups has made her question why she even immigrated here illegally. At airtime, Great Britain had intervened by offering to give France to Germany. A devastating terror attack was prevented today through the heroic actions of a lone CIA analyst. Jack Ryan, the operative responsible for thwarting the plot, reportedly stopped the terrorist from carrying out his attack by putting his gun in lemon jell-o.
Oh, come on! You put my stuff in jell-o again?
Shouted Abu Aziz al-Hawani after finding his weapon suspended in pristinely molded gelatin.
I am tired of these childish pranks. I want you reprimanded for this.
This incident was reportedly only the latest in a long history of clever practical jokes Agent Ryan has pulled while battling radical Islamic terror cells around the globe.
Jack Ryan has proven to be a highly effective counter-terrorist,
said Ryan's supervisor James Greer.
He does have the propensity to pull a lot of silly pranks on our enemies, but in my opinion, you use whatever tactics might work. I don't care if he posts a terrorist resume online and gets him transferred to Alaska, or if he frustrates a potential mass murderer by convincing him he's received fax messages from himself in the future. It might be stupid, but it saves lives.
Each time one of Ryan's pranks succeeds, he reportedly says nothing, opting to instead turn and look at the nearest witness and make a comical facial expression. Agent Ryan was rumored to be on the verge of busting up yet another dangerous terror cell by wrapping all the equipment and furniture in their hideout with Christmas wrapping paper. In a bid to enhance the luxury experience of first-class passengers, airlines have introduced a new perk allowing them to smack everyone flying in coach with pool noodles, all while shouting, "Pores, the filthy pores," as they pass by.
Look, son, here come the pores,
said first-class passenger Roger Milligan as he bonked everyone on the head with a pool noodle.
Poor people, dirty, smelly poor people. Enjoy your water and stale crackers, peasants.
According to many first-class patrons, the change has been a long time coming.
To think I used to fly up in the air alongside pores who had the audacity to walk by me without being humiliated. It's all quite laughable now,
said Kathleen Snyder as she sipped on her complimentary alcoholic beverage and reclined her chair back an extra inch.
Oh, stewardess! Could you please fetch me one of those poles to smack around for a few minutes? Thank you.
Thus far, airlines report that the new rule changes have gone smoothly.
Everyone has always known that passengers flying in first class are better than those wretched simpletons who fly coach,
said United Airlines spokesman Jeff Bengals.
No more sitting in silent judgment of those filthy peasants scuttle past you to their cramped, dingy seats. They don't even fight back when you beat them. They know their place, the miserable brutes.
worse.
Airlines have introduced a new option where, for a nominal fee, first-class passengers may get up during the flight and ring a bell while shouting, "Shame!" at all the ugly pores in coach. Following the news that President Joe Biden is in favor of developing methods to combat global warming by preventing the sun from shining on the Earth, White House officials have announced one potential solution being discussed involves blocking out the sun by using your mom.
We have reason to believe your mom is so fat she can block out the sun,
said history-making Black Gay White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
If these reports are in fact true, then your mom may be a great help to the American people and the global population as a whole.
Experts believe that despite the gargantuan task of attempting to block out the sun's rays, your mom is large enough to accomplish the feat.
Our reports indicate that your mom is so fat that she's on both sides of your family tree,
said Dr. Rick Deckard, an astrophysicist at NASA working on the project for the Biden administration.
And if it is correct that your mom is so fat that it would take Thanos 2 snaps to make her disappear, it appears that she may be the ideal candidate to help us with our mission.
The plan was hailed by climate change activists as a step in the right direction. We've got to save this planet one way or another. If your mom is so fat they found Biden's classified documents in the folds of her skin, we need her to use her size for the good of all mankind. Government officials say they plan to get your mom on board by taking her out for dinner, where she gets the group discount even when she's eating by herself. Nursery workers at First Baptist Church of Topeka have begun setting out a tip jar whenever Aiden's parents come to pick him up.
Aiden, let the baby out of the headlock, Aiden. Your parents are here. Mom, Dad, were you aware that Aiden brought a can of spray paint and a hammer to church today? Yeah, it's great. It's great.
After enduring weeks of utter chaos at the hands of 4-year-old Aiden Murphy, nursery workers decided perhaps a tip jar was appropriate.
All tips will go towards repairing the drywall destroyed by Aiden. Any money left over will help pay for nursery workers to see a therapist because of, Aiden. Aiden!
According to sources, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy have really tried to subdue Aiden, but their efforts have thus far proved fruitless.
I told Aiden 1,000 times to stop spraying kids with the fire extinguisher. But he won't listen. We tried putting him in his room for timeout, but he had hidden the circular saw under his bed and just cut his way out. I threatened to spank him, and then he pulled out a flamethrower. I worry we may be losing control.
At airtime, the nursery had reportedly begun using money from the tip jar to purchase body armor for whenever Aiden shows up. B-Radio features officially curated content from the Babylon Bee, scripted, voiced, and produced by Austin Robertson. Additional voices in this episode from Bettina, Brandon, Jared, Kristen, and Robin. Please subscribe, rate, and review B-Radio on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.